Well, hey guys, got something interesting you might like in the mystery box. It's from Parts Express. 12 volt DC, Bluetooth 4.0, FM radio, MP3, wave, FLAC, audio preamp board with function cables and remote. Ooh, what could this be all about? We got a little remote here. Nothing screams Chinese cheapness like these flimsy little remotes. Let's get that. I guess that's a little battery isolating tab. So here it is. It looks like it's a front panel to something. Parts Express does a lot of buyouts. So, you know, it was meant for some product that never came to fruition. So it's just the control panel unit. So interesting. We will try this thing out. And what else do we have here? Just a little manual. Just pause the video if you want to read all this stuff. Little connection diagram. So yeah, this thing looks interesting. It has Bluetooth. You can put an SD card in or one of those little USB memory stick things. And it has FM radio built in. A little remote. This could be very interesting. It would make a nice base for a portable speaker system, maybe. I'll just do my usual test, see if this thing is any good or not. Okay, I have it hooked up to power. I have the output connected to this little amplifier I made a long time ago. And, well, this wire goes nowhere. It's just a FM antenna. It's not very long, so you know, I'm not sure how well it's going to work receiving any signals, but take a look at this thing. I'll power it up.
Power on. Bluetooth mode. Waiting to be connected.
So the thing talks to you. It has some woman's voice. Some lady got to digitize her voice for mode indication on this thing. That's pretty interesting. Okay, well, we've got a bunch of things to try out. We have Bluetooth, auxiliary input, we have an SD card, and I guess we'll just try the radio first. I guess we'll hit the mode button.
Audio input.
There's your line in.
Radio.
I don't want to get a strike there, so let me see if I can use this remote thing here.
Scanning. Scanning. Scanning.
Just mute that. So it seems to work alright on FM. It is stereo, not some mono crap, but things would be quicker if it didn't say scanning every time you push the button. You can save and store your favorite stations though, so that would make things quicker. It does have this LED display. It's really bright. I don't know if the camera really picks that up, but it is pretty bright. You should be able to see it even in direct sunlight, I would think. Okay, I've loaded an SD card up with some music, royalty-free type YouTube music, and it's playing right now. It does have a volume control. Turn it down.
Minimum volume.
Well, if you hold the control down, it seems to run on. Come on, go. See, I let go and it keeps going. No weird distortion or noise problems at low volume. Let me turn it up here so you can hear it. Now let's try the Bluetooth function. Okay, I linked up the Bluetooth. Pretty simple. I just enabled Bluetooth on the tablet, saw the device, and it connected. So I have one of my videos playing, and I'll just unmute that. Another disadvantage is you have in and out put coupling capacitors on your op amp. You have to use that because if, like I say, if the power supply also powers other parts of the circuit. So there you go. That's me yammering in one of my videos. But hey, this thing works a treat. This thing is pretty darn cool. I see something kind of odd though. Let's turn it off. And by the way, it doesn't turn off. It just kind of hibernates. It always says off. So it's not great for battery power. So I guess if you want to actually turn it off, you would have to provide a switch that breaks the power connection there. Okay, I've removed the board from its casing. I saw something that looked like the plastic was still over the display, and yes it was, so I pulled that off. And of course it's under this display, so you can't get to it. And here's the front side of the board. Nothing really happening here, just the card readers and ports, IR, LED, display buttons. Here's the back. Guess I'll have to look up what that chip is. Something to do with Bluetooth, but it must have more function. It does have a regulator. The actual voltage range stated in the manual is 7 to 12 volts. But I'm sure it's okay if you go a little bit higher because it's got a 5-volt regulator on there. And power comes in, goes through this protection diode, so if you hook it up backwards it won't blow up. Then it goes into the regulator. So yeah, that's about it with this. I'm going to do some tests on the scope to see the signal quality, and See if this thing is hi-fi enough, at least for me. Almost forgot to show you the line input. That's as simple as just plugging a cable from your music player or whatever into its line input, and there you go. I won't bother with the USB. I'd have to find a USB stick and put it in there, but it works the same as the card. You just pop it in and use the folder buttons to navigate to the folder, and you can hit the next button to go to the next song in the folder. Okay, I'm playing my test tone wave file I put on here. It says it plays wave files as well as a few other types, and it's handling that okay. Here's the distortion. This node right here is my reference 1% distortion that's built into the signal. In other words, that's actually in the source file. Now you're seeing it jump around like that because I have it on loop. It's just repeating the file. So you'll see a big pulse here. But the weird thing is, these harmonics, they kind of bounce around a little bit, so I'm not sure what's going on. However, they are quite a bit smaller than our 1% pilot signal here. Less than 0.5%. I have the volume all the way up. Let's turn that off. The bad news, I have the volume turned all the way up, and it's only putting out 4.64 millivolts. So, you might have to use a preamp to drive a power amp with that. So the line level is actually kind of low on this thing. Now I'm playing a frequency sweep from 10 Hz to 22 kHz to test the frequency response. Now this thing has preset equalizer modes. There's 10 or so of them. And this one seems to be the flattest one I can find. But it seems to put out pretty flat until it goes up to 20 kilohertz. It does shrink down a little bit. I'm not sure if it has a completely flat setting. There is one mode that actually peaks up around 20 kilohertz before ramping off. So the frequency response of this thing is excellent. It's, it does the business all across the band. Okay, to add to and summarize my findings, I got this at Parts Express for $15. You guys are good at finding things about half the price I pay for it. So I'm not sure if it is available elsewhere or not, or if it's a Parts Express exclusive thing. You might poke around and see if it is. The current draw is 100 milliamps when it's working, and 30 milliamps when it's turned off. Like I said, it just displays off in the display when it's turned off, so it's still drawing power. So if you really want to turn it off, you have to use a power switch. Even if you turn it off or completely disconnect power to it, turn it back on, it seems to remember where it was on the SD card. It remembers the file it was playing. So it must store that in non-volatile memory. Supply volts, it actually will run from 7 to 12 volts. You can actually go a little bit higher than that because it does have a regulator. Just have to make sure it's not dissipating too much power. And drawing only 100 milliamps max, I don't think it would be an issue. So it has an FM radio, multiple digital music formats, remote control, Bluetooth. You know, everything seems to work. Some of the disadvantages: the control's kind of laggy when you're flipping through radio stations. You know, it says scanning. You know, it kind of makes the controls laggy. And just normal navigating is kind of difficult, I think. If you have a card with tons of folders and music, it's be kind of hard to flip through all of those. FM sensitivity is better if you put a longer antenna. The antenna is, you know, pretty short, so I would, if you do listen to the radio on this thing, I would get a longer antenna. So this thing gets a thumbs up from me. It's pretty amazing. Pretty useful device. No issues with audio quality. Nice stereo sound. I recommend it. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching.